Welcome to Chicago. It is late at night, so let us play.
There we go. Welcome, everybody. We're live on the interwebs, the internets, the Twitches, the Twitch streams. And eventually we'll be recorded and posted over on YouTube, which is where I actually watch this show later. The internets, the Twitches, the Twitch streams. That doesn't bode well for Twitch. But how are you guys doing? Everybody here? Welcome back, Julian White, who will be joining us this week. And goodbye to Sister Vindicta, who will not. God, schedules keep conflicting, and I just had to throw away my little lollipop. Otherwise, it's on the air the whole time. So we come back into Windy City Kindred, coming down towards the end, and big things last week. The coterie, without the help of Julian, actually had a big throwdown brawl with the last two gangrel. Did a little bit of damage to the Garfield Park Conservatory Desert House. A couple of bullet holes in the walls, a couple of broken windows. Some of the cactus were knocked over, and some blood on the floor, oddly. But those two last gangrel, part of the Gary coterie that have been plaguing us from the very beginning of the story, are finally dealt with. Turned to ash, and everybody is in better shape for it. Julian, you missed all the excitement. It was.
Shucks.
Oh yeah, I think you would have enjoyed this fight, though. This is kind of right up your alley, you know. There was.
I am partially sad. I do like killing things.
Arthur was just desperate to call them out in the most blatant public way possible. And has no idea of what subterfuge even is.
Sounds about right.
But they managed to get them there to their ambush spot, and it was Arthur who decided to make a speech at the beginning, but that didn't work either.
Oh, your moment of triumph. That's sad.
It was pretty funny, though.
Hey, they're the ones that are dead, not me.
That's true, too. That is very true. Sister Vindicta, I'm sorry that she's not here, but I got the best part of my game out when she whipped out her rosaries, and
yes,
the handle collapsed, and she whipped across the back of one of the dudes who felt the touch of the Lord. Oh, it was good stuff. But Julian missed it all. So let's go back to Thursday for you. Thursday morning, coming off of that Friday night, or I'm sorry, the Wednesday night, when you had decided to burn the NOS and the building to the ground, you woke Thursday evening to the very public news on the radio, on television, that the old Masonic temple had been burned to the ground and had already been started to be cleared by bulldozers that day. Very efficient on the part of the city, who seemed to really want this building gone. They got their wish, and that was it. The NOS Malort and One Round, who was staying with her, were no more. And you had planned, I guess, to attack the gangrel that were left this evening. You had decided to stay at Critias's because you were pretty sure that Lilith's place had C4 in the walls.
Yes. No, not really, but sure.
No, it was just awkward, and the conversation that was beamed to you straight through your phone, thanks to Narvin, was enlightening, to say the least. Give me your rouse check for Thursday night and tell me what your plans are at the beginning of that night.
First to eat. Yeah, first to eat. because I failed my rouse check.
Yeah. So what's that put you at hunger-wise?
You don't recover hunger
Unless
automatically, right?
no, not unless you feed.
So 3.
Ooh. Yeah, those hunger pangs are getting up there. All right. The closest feeding for you is probably at Omni Media Group at your office, where you can find some of your herd, as it is.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
there's also your condo, though I don't think you have anybody there. There's also your home, which is on the north side, which would take you longer to get to.
I can just go
Narvin
to
is not with you at this point, but he can come pick you up.
Yeah, I can just go to Omni Media Group.
Okay. Omni Media Group is in the downtown corridor, so let me take you to a map. Why not? You can all look at the city as Google spells it out for us. Yep, just north of Chinatown, near the Shed complex. Between the Shed and Merrill Park, you'll find Omni Media Group.
Okay.
You have a show coming up Friday night. I guess my question is Lilith still employed?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So
I don't know. I like have kind of washed my hands of it.
But are you expecting her at your production tomorrow night?
Julie wouldn't be looking for her.
Okay.
She's
her key card will work if she shows up.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. That's, I guess, the important thing to know. So if she shows up, she's still got a job. If not, you've just sort of decided to ignore the whole thing.
Yes.
Your feeding style is
Scene queen.
Yeah, so you need to find one of your herd there, one of your fans, one of your assistants, interns, whatever you call them.
Yeah, probably would be an intern.
So roll that. Is it a manipulation persuasion?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you talk them into it. Take them into a private room, an office.
Oh, nice.
4 successes. Wait, oh no.
3 successes.
3 successes.
10, but that's fine. It'll take you maybe an hour or so just wandering the halls back and forth to your office, checking out the break room. But you'll find that intern copying some papers somewhere and running a file to another office. You take a moment, you sweet talk, and you feed. So you're able to slake 2 dots of your hunger. You need to leave this one alive.
Okay.
The intern will feel better about the whole thing, like she's or he is close to you. Like, I've done something for the boss. That should put me in his good graces. And you could go about your day feeling much, much better about your hunger levels.
Awesome.
What are your plans now?
So I planned on speaking to Rosa.
Right, you would set up a meeting to talk with Rosa.
And I have to find her. And potentially Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Gonna
throw it.
Annabelle the Torador pre-mention.
Yeah. I hadn't expected you to go that route, but okay.
I haven't decided yet, but that's like a tentative plan.
All right, we can. Narvin will eventually contact you, though you haven't seen him yet. He'll say you have another visitor.
Where? And who?
At your condo.
Who?
He literally can't say.
Okay, I'll bite.
Do you want him to come pick you up? Or are you just gonna? You're pretty close from your from the downtown to your
Yeah.
condo.
I'll just walk.
There's your condo. That's not where I want to take you. I want you to go here.
Ooh. Nice.
You are standing with 3 nondescript. I don't know why it's playing the fight music.
Well, I mean, it can go down however you guys want.
Yeah, give me a more mysterious take here instead of a cry havoc kind of thing. All right. The 3 mysterious people you are staring at, you don't really, well, you don't see their faces. You do see their faces, but you don't recall seeing their faces even as you look at their faces. These men will introduce themselves as the Directorate. They're concerned about your association with Fiorenza Savona.
I'll sit down and just kind of answer with silence and let them continue.
She's been doing things, looking into things, pulling on strings she shouldn't be pulling on. And we hear that it's on your behalf. But she's also a danger. They get very contemptuous about it. She's new money. She's not eld. She doesn't have the gravitas of age or experience. She just has connections. They make you an offer, Julian. They would like you to help them as part of the Directorate. But you lose your connection to Fiorenza.
And who exactly is she a problem for?
Others.
Others. And what's to stop me from becoming a problem?
I do not know.
What's in it for me?
Interesting you should ask that. Look to your lore path about Fiorenza Savona.
Yes, I am out of character familiar.
Their identities, which are already ambiguous to you, will be completely erased from your memory. But you will receive 6 dots you can immediately spend anywhere on your sheet in contacts, Maula, resources, and I will open that up for anything else you think might be appropriate, though not a discipline.
And what exactly would you like me to do on your behalf?
Your contact with Fiorenza would go away immediately. And they would ask you, similar to how Fiorenza sent her message with her make-peace suit that you wore, they would ask you to do a similar thing for your show tomorrow night, sending that message back to Fiorenza that you are no longer a part of her trusted circle.
And will you offer me protection from Fiorenza and her vast contacts?
They offer you those 6 dots. It is a bird in the hand sort of situation. You can get those 6 dots now, or you can decline their offer. I know I put work as a double agent as the opposite, but I think just simply declining their offer is going to be about as far as you can go on that end, especially with the time we have left.
This is quite the offer.
Now, declining their offer you will find that some of your business interests are targeted.
But Fiorenza would owe me a favor?
Fiorenza would still owe you a favor, just for saying no, for taking their wrath.
She would. Okay, just a favor. It's very vague.
It is.
Um,
But when I say a favor, and I put it in caps like I did, I mean a legitimate boon that would be recorded with the Seneschal and the Camarilla. So, like currency.
Okay. This is quite the offer. I obviously will have to think about it.
They'll let you, but there is a time limit.
Okay.
By the time the sun comes up, they need an answer. They'll put a number, slide it across your coffee table, and they will leave. After they're gone, you're not even entirely sure they were there. You can't remember their faces, but you remember the offer.
Narvin, pull up the security footage from the building. I want to see if it can identify our visitors.
He'll pull it up, but they are obscured, blurry. There's no clear image in either your mind or the camera. But there are three of them in suits, sort of that Men in Black style thing.
What do you think, Narvin?
I think the directorate are very powerful. The inner machinations of the Kindred life is not as unique as you might think. It's very similar to humans and how they set up their hierarchies of power and structure. In the same way the Camarilla wrangles a city, the directorate and Fiorenza on the other side of it wrangle their own sort of information and influence.
Okay. I'll think about it.
Oh, yes, you will.
Does this also include the blood bond? Because they didn't mention that.
They didn't mention that, but yes.
Okay.
Now, the blood bond does take time. Obviously, that would be 3 separate servings, as it were. So at the time you'd say yes, you'd only get your first taste.
Okay. I would have asked them a question if the blood bond was the case. You wouldn't.
What question would you have asked?
You wouldn't mind sharing a blood bond with a La Sombra?
Oh, it's not sharing. You understand? That means you become supplicant to them. They don't take any of yours.
Right. You wouldn't mind bringing a La Sombra into such important matters.
When the blood is trusted, no.
Okay, that's it. That's my question. Okay.
The same way Fiorenza doesn't have a problem with it, neither do they. There's a certain level after which they stop looking at clan and affiliation by sect. These are movers and shakers who need to exert influence on both sides of the pond, on both sides of America, both coasts, whether it be Anarch or Camarilla or even Sabbat influences. So the La Sombra are not unfamiliar to the directorate.
Okay.
And the directorate is bigger than Chicago. This isn't a local group.
All right. Then I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to look at the mail to see how far 6 dots will get me.
While you are thinking about it, you are ignoring a couple of calls from other members of your coterie.
Yeah, sure. That's right. I'm fine with that.
They figured that too.
Yeah. Did they leave voicemails or?
No, Lilith called once, hung up. When she didn't leave a message.
I think at some point, though, did Sister?
I think Sister Vindicta may
at
have
some point, but later on, I think.
Yeah, may have left you a message about to Sable.
Oh, yeah.
And her... yeah, go ahead.
So one of us called Narvin and said that, I'm sorry, but Mr. White is indisposed. And
Yeah,
we're like, okay. And then we left it at that.
In that meeting with your shadowy friends, Narvin was pushing your calls off.
Okay. So I guess I would call them whoever the last I guess I'll call Lilith back.
Actually, you didn't. It was sort of giving you
I didn't. Oh yeah. Okay.
Thursday night. You can
did,
get a
did
message.
my meeting with Rosa go through?
That was the other thing we were going to talk about. Arthur had tried to get a hold of Rosa, I believe, and was unable to, though they did end up getting permission to go to the Garfield Park Conservatory. Rosa didn't mention anything about a meeting with Julian, but such a meeting certainly happened. Well, she can come to you, or you can go to her.
I'll go to her.
Then let's make this a little bit earlier in the day, or the night, evening, whatever you want to call it. Where are you? Too many things here. Not there. Not what I wanted to do. That's better. If you're meeting with her earlier in the night, let's take you over to Garfield Park Conservatory. This is where the fight will happen later on.
They're fighting, and you just see Julian in the background.
Much earlier. Much earlier. But this is Rosa's pride and joy. She was helpful in the regentrification of the neighborhood, the resurgence of this building that had fallen into disrepair in the 80s. It is a beautiful horticultural museum. It holds plants and species from around the world. She'll even give you a little tour if you like. Rosa is a straight up Spanish Mexican young sort of. She looks like a gang leader when you first meet her. A little tour if you like. But what do you want with Rosa? You, La Sombra.
I'd like to be allies.
Only a fool would say no, right? But my question is, why?
Because I have information about something I understand you would like.
All right, you have me intrigued. What do you mean?
As I understand it, there has been an increased lack of respect for the vital role that you play in the Primogen Council. And I think that you were interested in the airport.
You can give Rosa the airport, yes?
I, c- I can give you information that can help you secure it.
Uh, you're
And I
working.
and I honestly believe that it would be better in your hands than its current holder.
You're working with my good one, Arthur. There's very little gangrel left in the city. They all ran away years ago. But
Cowards.
he's stable. He's stayed here. He works good. You work with him?
I'm attempting to. I hoped to share this information with him directly, but unfortunately, there hasn't been as smooth a flow of information as I would have liked. So
Ah,
I'm coming directly to you.
oh, okay. I see. So here's where I get suspicious. You come to me with information says I can give me the airport in some way. I don't know. I'm not going to guess. I think it has to do with Flyboy, but I'm not going to guess. But you don't bring it to me through someone I trust because you don't trust him.
I wouldn't say that I don't trust him, but I've been in the city for a bit of time, and I have acted in the best interests of the Chimeria. And honestly, the whole La Sombra, not La Sombra, it's getting quite tiresome. I don't trust people's ability to be able to advocate on my behalf. And I don't need them to.
Hmm. I understand where you're coming from. The advocate on my behalf. When you're left alone in the city, you have to do everything yourself. All right.
Correct.
What do you want?
As I said, I want to be allies. I came to you amongst all the other Primogen that I could have gone to because I truly believe that the airport and everything that it guards would be better off in your hands.
I believe that too. All
So
right.
that's it.
I'm still suspicious. What do you really get out of it, though? You know?
I get a different perspective on my occupation in the city. One that hopefully is less predisposed to suspicion and more mutually beneficial.
Ah,
I don't have an ask of you. This is not that kind of thing. We just happen to have interests that are aligned, and I hope that they stay that way. In return, you get access to something that you've been looking for, which is what I hope to do in this city.
all
Connect
right.
people to things that they want.
Oh, I like that too. Connect things to people. All right. What do I have to do to get the airport?
Okay, so I will tell her about um
And what are you going to tell her or are you going to show her? Did you bring the file?
I can show her.
Wow. The file, if you do show it to her, that is a heavy piece of
Uh,
information, you
Oh,
know.
oh, so not like I thought I was talking about like the airport, like the files from Flyboy's computer.
Okay,
Um,
those are lighter than
Yes.
those she sort of expects you to have.
yes.
Because
And
you're-
I will say to her that there is a danger, of course, in this, in that it's fairly obvious to anyone looking that Flyboy has connections.
if he's connected to First Light or any of that Inquisition bullshit, I'll kill him myself.
Then I hope you understand that I can only say so much. I hope he dies slowly.
Included in the information, then she's going to need just a something that brings it all together. Something that is concrete. So
I'll
you
get.
you
I'll
may.
give.
Boy, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you may have to pull something from that Harker file, but
Yes.
not the whole thing.
I'll give her the elevator, the private entrance
Yes.
behind him, and I will tell her about his assistant who is just there for the money.
Can you show her where that money came from?
I'll ask her, how much do you want to know?
Enough to bury that fucker.
Then I will tell her about. I'll give her the information that I had before Fiorenza filled in the background. So I like the Daniel, I think that's his name,
Daniel
Bailey.
Bailey, his handler, yeah.
I can give because I got that information from beforehand.
Okay, so you're gonna give Fiorenza the elevator, Daniel Bailey, Felicity Miller, and the money.
Uh-huh.
That I think should do it. But you're not going to tell her that Flyboy was a product of a government project that only somewhat succeeded, that Daniel Bailey is the head of a black ops force about 100 miles away. None of that.
I'll say that he has resources that might be close. So I don't have to tell you to be cautious.
Rosa isn't looking cautious. She's looking bloodthirsty. She's wanted the airport for a while. She's wanted dirt on Gruel forever since he took his position there.
Oh, I will also tell her that he appears to be susceptible to compelling and other special traits.
That will interest her, because that's the thinnest of blood right there. Being able to be awed by another vampire, that's not supposed to happen. She can make use of that. During your conversation, which seems to be going on for a while, Rosa is going to get a couple of messages that she will just quickly text back on her phone, and then tell you, I think we have to leave. Something might be going down here later.
Naturally.
She'll walk you through the gardens, which are a beautiful open area, and she'll explain to you that she tried to give the gangrel of the city a place to call their own. Now, this is a free zone for gangrel to feed if they're in the city. There aren't many left. Arthur is one of maybe 3, and then those Gary Coterie, when they came to town, that practically doubled the number of gangrel. But it's a beautiful area. Manicured grounds. There's a hedge maze. There's the building, the lands. She'll show it off proudly in the neighborhood. It's going to take a little bit of time. She likes to talk. But that being said, I think that was all that was going to happen for Julian on Thursday. Oh, yeah, there was one more thing. If you go back to the lab, the V phones are ready. Now, DuSable and the sister have been going back and forth about K. Marshall and everything that DuSable wants, and DuSable is incredibly impatient. He wants the disciplines, he wants the phones, he wants it all, and he's been talking about it. He's been talking about it to the prince, to the sheriff, and to the sister. He's anxious. So a sort of decree came down. There will be 10 V phones made, but you don't get to decide who they get distributed to. This is a test run, and they're going to see how it works and if it keeps everyone safe and acts as they're supposed to as a secure line of communication. Each of the members of the coterie will get phones.
But
Straight up.
other than that,
You want to know who they went to?
hell yeah.
Okay. Gotta go back to my notes.
This is some bullshit. This is extortion.
Well, it's going to make sense to you. One of them obviously went to Damien. So he's going to be able to keep in contact with you and you can keep in contact with him. One of them is going to disable since he's made up so much noise about this whole thing. All right. So now we're up to 6. The prince took 2 phones. He's going to use one, and you don't know who has the other. After that, the Primogen who found out about this started haggling amongst themselves. With your new information about Flyboy, Rosa was able to secure herself a phone. The last one went to the Nosferatu Primogen Khalid.
Okay.
So he can play with it. I can tell. Even in the last episode, it was mentioned that Julian wasn't going to be happy about this, but the prince is allowing this to happen as a test run, a proof of concept, whatever you want to call it. He needs to know that these phones are absolutely secure before he allows them to go out and be mass marketed to the rest of the Kindred.
Okay.
The phones, though, spectacular devices. They identify you and power themselves by a small sample of your Vitae when you press the phone. You don't even notice that it's sampled it. But with that tiny bit, it powers on. You're only able to see it through auspex or even hear it through enhanced senses, things like that. The kind looking at it, any mortal doesn't see or hear a thing. If you use someone else's V phone, when you power it on with your Vitae, all your information pops up. So your information is locked to your blood. Whatever your email is, whatever your Twitter handle is, doesn't matter. You can post videos. And yes, you, Julian, can post and shoot videos all you want. This phone works for you 100% of the time. There is no clan bane that keeps this from working. It works based on your blood.
Okay.
So selfie away, every picture is going to come out. You're going to be not translucent at all, not half a picture. You look good in these photos. You can use the filters. You can use TikTok. You can.
Yeah, I'm going to have an orgy and film it in a little bit, but
We all
yeah. But my question is, I've obviously been recording the lab.
Yes.
Would I be able to continue to manufacture these phones after K. Marshall Ellis is gone?
Yeah. At this point, you have everything all his designs and everything for how the phone is built and constructed and how it works. What you wouldn't have are any additional disciplines he might discover and any fixes if something does go wrong with the phone.
Okay. Then the ongoing side project that I'd like people to do is to start to put replace like the security cameras and things in my condo and my house with this V-phone technology so that my cameras can capture people regardless of their clan status.
Oh. Excellent. Yeah. You want to actually adapt some of this technology for different uses.
Yes.
That will require K. Marshall Ellis because, right now This is an engineering feat that really only he understands.
Okay. Then he
Replicating
can.
what he's done so far, easy enough.
Okay. Then
Adapting
he
it,
can. Then he can start working on that, on what I want. Since apparently I have to get it while the getting's good before everybody else decides where the stuff goes. So yeah.
This wouldn't have been too much of a problem, except that the sister did reveal a shit ton of information to Disable. She didn't really, in an attempt to placate him, she told him everything. And yeah, the word got out.
Loose lips.
Yeah, loose lips have sunk this ship. But
Okay. I'm done.
but
Then.
yes, K Marshall is not actually producing any more phones right now, so having an opportunity to produce something else right up his alley. He's happy and excited to be able to do it. And, yeah. That should have been your entire day. Boy, that was a day. And I thought the other guys had an exciting one.
Fucking business, right?
But as the morning comes and the sun is about to rise, have you made your decision?
Yeah, I was trying to look at what I can get. Yeah, fine. I'll do it. Fuck it.
Do which?
It's 6 dots in contacts and
To be spread
contacts are
among
Malwa.
yeah, and resources. However, if you find another category you'd like to include, I will consider it.
Okay. So like a Malwa is basically somebody that looks out for you.
Somebody you can turn to who's higher up the chain, who can dispense wisdom or resources. In this case, this would be a directorate, a shadowy directorate person.
Oh. And what can they do?
What do you need?
I don't know. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to make an informed purchasing decision.
A 2-dot Maula, especially somebody from the directorate, is someone you can turn to for information or emergency needs. Let your mind go. What can you get from somebody with connections?
Could I use it on status?
Ooh, you want to raise your status? Yes, I like that. Because
Okay.
you need a little bit of that anyway.
So for 1, 2, 3, 4, for 5 dots, I now sit at the table of power in the group, a respected member of the Primogen.
Do you want to spend it all?
I mean, is that possible? That I would could become a member of the Primogen? A respected member of the Primogen. Sorry.
I hear you. This is possible. This is absolutely possible. It won't take effect immediately, but this is, if that's what you choose,
I hate that.
It will happen.
That's what you choose part.
Now look, I don't like to metagame, and I definitely don't like to rehash other games I've played. However, my first group with this storyline had a La Sombra in it. And he sort of ended up there.
I mean, I'm good. So like now that
and he didn't even have this background.
Versus a vague favor, I'm gonna, which I don't know what it can do. Yeah, I'll go for it. Fuck it. Why not?
You're gonna take 5 dots for status and
well, do I have to decide where the dots go right now?
I'd like you to.
It's a hard decision.
How dare you?
Gratification. It's instant gratification, bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush. So if you want the instant gratification, Gratify us. Show us what you're doing with your dots.
I mean, I didn't say I wanted. Okay. So I already have entrenched actually, so I wouldn't need all five. I'm
There you go.
already entrenched. So I would only need
3, 2, 3.
yeah, I would only need 3.
And spread the rest around then.
Okay. I'm gonna go for to add 3 to become a luminary. And I'm going to spend one of them I'm on resources. So I've now maxed that out. I'm ultra rich.
Fuck you are.
Quote unquote anything money can buy is the text.
And you haven't even hit the limit of that yet with your requests. And we've got a fleet of cars.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And I guess the rest would go into contacts.
Again, the directorate is going to empower you in ways that you can't imagine. You'll have numbers that you can call, people you can talk to.
Okay, I'll do that then.
I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Your business interests are not going to be targeted. In fact, they are going to flourish. You're going to find your investments are solid, and you get great tips on what to invest in next. So, yes, stepping up to rich as shit, or stepping from rich as shit to unbelievably rich as shit should change your life in no way at all.
Yep, sounds about right. All right, I've done it, and now it's done.
Your contact with Fiorenza is burned. That number will never work for you again. If you ever see her, you could expect her to be pissed. You deceitful La Sombra bastard.
I mean, I'm just acting like a Ventru.
You really are. But the directorate will help you in Chicago, and you will find yourself elevated here soon enough. Wow. And with that, you fall into torpor and the sun will rise. We can get ready for another day. So sorry to keep everybody waiting for that. That seemed to take a while, but I think it's worth it. You, as a group, do not know the circumstances that surrounded Julian not being around yesterday. But as you rise Friday night, how about everybody give me a little rouse check? I need to get to my Friday night note.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my brain's not working. I succeeded. Got a 9.
That is a negative ghostwriter.
You are hungry again, Arthur. It's like you're insatiable.
It's like it's called being hangry.
The thing for you, Arthur, on this Friday night, even with your hunger, is that you were headed over to Hate Church.
Yes,
You got your invitation to come feast your eyes from Reverend E.
And Sister Vindicta isn't here. I was going to bring her along for on a pilgrimage, and she's not here today.
Ow.
And
Kitty.
that would have been the greatest interaction ever, because Sister Vindicta has a little bit of a history with Reverend Ezekiel.
Well, I can still be a dick and name drop, I suppose.
You might not want to do that.
Ooh, that means you do.
But Arthur doesn't.
And if you were to say, text her about it and say, Hate Church, whatever, she's going to flat out refuse because she knows that Reverend Ezekiel is there. He considers her his maybe not deepest, maybe not truest, but one of his most vile enemies.
Oh, good try.
He's he might know things about her that she's attempted to keep hidden, but he doesn't like her at all. And
And she was spouting some straight up racist shit, last time. So
but
but
the funny thing is, it's Reverend Ezekiel that is the hardcore racist, misogynist, sexist. He doesn't even like the Orientals. This guy is old school, old west.
and with a name like Ezekiel, apologies to any viewers named Ezekiel, but that name's got a stigmata. I've watched The Boys. Yeah. Yeah, Arthur will give Sister Vindicta a call, and what I can only assume is either a vehement series of no's or just constant deflection. Like that's what c'est la vie is more fun for me, I suppose. And then he'll go. But catch a snack, a little juice box on the way.
As we learned just a little while ago, or at least the La Sombra learned, you had learned earlier that Garfield Park is feeding ground for the gangrel.
Mm-hmm. That's
or the rack. Although Garfield Park's a little closer for you.
Yeah, and I guess it's more which one's en route to the entrance to Hate Church.
Entrance to the Hate Church, at least the address you've got, is a nondescript building just sort of on the west edge of downtown. So not very far. Okay. Closer to Garfield Park than going all the way up to the rack, definitely. But in Garfield Park, you're not going to find the same sort of clientele that you find out in the rack. You're not going to find the business drunks or, those people. You're going to find the more walking their dog kind of people. Though you don't have to pick one with a dog. I know.
I'm your mother now, and this is. Yeah, well, we could go for something a bit of a finer taste, nicer vintage. Yeah, we'll go to Garfield and have a nice rosé. And yeah, just if someone's got like a lap dog that's more like a glorified rat, that's not a dog in Arthur's eyes.
Roll your feeding, because if you find someone like carrying a chihuahua in a purse, I think that's what you're going for.
Napoleon, this time for dinner. Okay, there we go.
I don't know if it's actually a true story about the Chihuahua dog, but having lived in Arizona for a long time, I spoke with many a Mexican who swear that dog was actually created by the ancient Maya or Aztec as portable food. As it was explained to me, chicken don't come when you call them.
Well, that is...
Damn.
So yeah, they used to travel with like a little fleet of Chihuahua, just following along, and that was dinner.
And this is something I
don't know if it's true.
This roll is something I need to take a photo of and put in the group chat, because that is all positives and all the dice, and a 10 on one of them.
Holy shit!
A 10, 9, 9, 9, 6, 6.
Why don't you roll this when you're fighting somebody?
I don't know. Horse malarkey. Okay, yeah.
This Garfield Park is the best place you've ever fed.
Oh, I could live in here.
There's cover from trees and bushes and stuff. There are pretentious, snobby, terrible people walking around with little pedigree dogs and it offends you. And
why did they have in a stroller? They has legs.
Yes, the stroller types. So
There's-
get one of those. The stroller's going to stay out on the little parkway, but you are going to throw this woman behind a bush and teach her to treat her dog better.
Yeah, I see like like a nice walkway with like two hedges, and just in unison, Napoleon and Arthur just pounce almost an identical form and function, just taking them into the bush across the way and doing their thing.
You can slake as much hunger as you like, though if you slake it all, you'll have to get rid of this body and probably have to adopt a purse dog.
And the purse dog's for Napoleon to do with what he wants. Listen, if it looks like a rat, it sounds like a rat.
Yeah.
Shoe fits. Yeah, it's just Arthur will just he won't slake all of his hunger. He'll just take enough, and because her poor choice in treating her animals, it's not she wasn't abusing it, so it's not a murderable offense. But he'll just
She's only humiliating her animal.
yeah,
Which-
and
yeah.
and so the animal ran away. When it just ran away into my dog's digestive tract.
Oh, what a shame.
No,
You have to get another one.
yeah. And of course, and oh yeah, her purse, mine. Yeah, and her dog ran away, and in chasing after it, she got mugged. That's the mind trick that I'm gonna be pulling.
It seems like that to her anyway. Some big nasty dog got into it with her dog, and her dog ran off, and she got dragged into the bushes. Oh, it's a horrible experience. Good for you though. Take yourself down to 1 dot of hunger, and
Already there. But yeah, no, so I had that same lament. It's like I can't roll this way in combat because it's fine.
with feeding, it's just all you need is a success. You don't need to overdo it like this.
Yeah,
Save that roll for later.
but it's yeah.
Are you
I-
going to go to hate church then by yourself?
You know, yeah, I think so. This is my own personal business.
All right, fair enough. It's you weren't going to call Julian anyway. He's got a show to do.
Yeah, Julian's got a show to do, and also
sister's
he
telling
already
you.
knows where I live, so like I don't,
So the only other one you would have possibly invited is Lilith, and she just ran away. Oh wait, she's not. So Lilith, are you going to go to your Friday night job?
Yeah, I will.
All right.
Yeah, and I'll get dressed up like my old self.
Oh,
Yes.
clean
So
up,
many
put on good
masks.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, then, excellent. You'll show up at Omni Media Group. You will see her show up in time to get prepared for the show. She's the wrangler for the guests of the show. I didn't have a theme in mind for tonight, though. Whatever you might need to do. For your show, you're not wearing the make piece. That's just a thing. That's your message for tonight.
Okay.
But Lilith is there, shuttling, say, back and forth between the green room and the makeup, and making sure everybody's going to be where they're going to be, and that your show's going to run like clockwork. How are you feeling like talking to her?
If she chooses to say, I mean, I'm working, I'm busy working, but I'm not like putting off an air of nobody talk to me. When I'm at my show, I am happy and congenial to everybody, and hey, how's it going? Fantastic.
And I wouldn't go up to him. I'd be pleasant, but I'd be
Hey.
acting busy, basically. Yeah.
Excellent. So you guys, you go about that, and we'll come back to you in a little bit. Arthur, you need to get over to Hate Church.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you go to this building, you're going to walk into the lobby, and they're going to give you an elevator to the basement. When you get out of the elevator, there's going to be an attendant there, and he's going to look at the dog and be like, can't take the dog. Now, he could stay right here in this basement area. The guy will put out a bowl of water for him, and he'll be perfectly safe.
Does allergies or just more of a not your not the kind of the fighting clientele you're looking for?
Yeah, not the environment for a dog, man. Trust me.
Oh, you do not know him.
Yeah.
But this fight, Napoleon behave unless someone gives you a reason not to. Then just pat him on the head. It's like keep watch on him. If he is in any worse fare when I return, it's going to be very bad for many people.
He believes you.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think Napoleon will be fine. The guy will lead you down 2 flights of stairs into an even older basement. It's kind of odd, but the concrete that was up there has turned into kind of a brick, has turned into kind of an old mortar. And the further you go down in this room, you realize that Chicago may have burned above this level at one point and was buried to this to level the city. It's interesting. But even here in this sub basement, there's another elevator. This elevator is one of those old cage types with the clanging door shut and the big handle that you got to kind of yank to one side to make it go down.
Yeah, like the accordion grate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It functions. But this is the oldest of the old technology, and you have to just sort of trust it. The attendant will say, go ahead, and you can go in the elevator and operate it yourself. There's only one place to go from here.
Oh, yeah. Arthur's all about this. He's been into the Court of Miracles, and he's familiar with. Yeah, it's like, oh, there's underground. I love it. It's just like Perry. Goodbye here. Hello, dubstep.
The elevator descends
best choice
into a cavernous cathedral style room. This is big and it's old and it's full of people. It's full of kind and kindred alike. It's full of the unregistered caitiff of Chicago. This is an open feeding ground for them. They bring their victims, they dance, they get high, they fight, and they feed. And nobody is any the wiser when it's all over with.
As Arthur looks like a kid in a candy store. It's like, where have you been all my life?
There's a DJ, there's laser lights, there's smoke. This is a fucking rave like you can't believe. And there are hundreds here. There's a lot of people. Every now and then, people will start shouting things into a microphone. There's a stand up on the altar, if you will. And people will just come up and shout about what they hate. And everybody cheers. I hate this fucking city. Yeah! No matter what it is, no matter what they hate, somebody hates it along with them. And that's what this place is all about. An old-timey preacher man is going to come out. And he kind of makes his statement to the world. He tells you about Hate Church. He tells you this is a place you can come and be yourselves. He talks freely amongst these mortals about the kindred in the room. This is a masquerade breach of the highest order. Everyone here seems to understand that There are vampires in the room. Fangs are out. Cative Nosferatu types are fully unobfuscated. Nobody seems to mind.
Look at the delicious in here. He keeps talking as if when Napoleon is with him, so it's very much like talking to himself. Like,
So here we are, Hate Church. It's got a lot going on. Along the sides of Hate Church, there are different little kind of alcoves where drug dealers have set up. There's a bar. There's anything you want. There's alcoves in the back where there's whores going at it, men or women. Nobody's making any judgments down here, and Reverend Ezekiel is doing his preacher thing, talking in the old school, trying to raise everybody up. See the vision of the Lord by showing you what you hate. This world ain't perfect. Oh yeah, he's just off in another world. He seems like he's preaching faith, but he's preaching hate and it's just fantastic. People are getting angry. The Kindred are feeling that rouse, and eventually this will all just break out into a bloodbath, and you know it.
Let's go. He's Father Ezekiel is keeping himself plenty busy, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's got his little thing going for right now.
Forgive me, Father, for I'm about to sin. Was there a name on the invitation I received?
It was just Reverend E was who signed it, and oh, you mean was it to you?
Oh no, it's just of someone I could show the invitation to and talk shop with, or is this kind of the what do we call it in gaming, the skill ceiling? See if I survive, then I can talk business.
Give me let's roll for this. Why not?
Okay.
Let's do a little wits survival, and you'll see how you adapt to this new environment. You've got survival, don't you?
Yes, I do. It is actually, that's actually a pretty decent pool.
You've been in some weirder places for sure.
That is 3 successes.
That'll do. This is a comfortable place for you. You can kind of understand how it's set up. There's a focal point with the stage, the altar. There's the lights and everything. There's the microphone, the podium. So you look back behind you and you're like, okay, there's the bar. Along the sides, that's where the business is being done. But the thing that you don't see is, where's the ring?
Mosh pit. Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okie dokie. Then, with that realization, Arthur is going to find himself a place where he has like a nice scope of view, and where there's a less chance of him being surrounded.
You can find yourself a corner, maybe elevated.
Yeah. Yeah, so people's elbow onto someone. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be good.
You're enjoying this far too much.
Oh man, he's finally in his element. It's to be a wild animal. This is great.
And you see this. You see others being animals. You see fangs. You see transformations. You think you see feeding. You don't see blood, but there's some close contact moshing around on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
That could be. It might be. It's definitely happening off on the sides in the tunnels and in the dark.
And Arthur will just drink it all in, and he's not gonna join in like the hate proselytizing, but he's just gonna bask in it. He's gonna absorb it, just like he's a solar panel to this shit. He's just gonna, allow himself to feel those muscles bunch, and he's just gonna flex of his hands, let the claws ease their way out, and he's just waiting he's in his perch just for the time to pounce.
Let's talk about what you need. So your tournament, which is going to happen in a couple nights' time here, is going to feature 8 main fights. Single round elimination. So the winner of each fight fights again and fights again. There are 16 slots to fill. You have 5 from your home gym where you're going to host this fight, this tournament. You've gotten responses from other gyms. The Blood Disco is sending 2. Broken Charlie is sending Phil over. The Chicago Police Athletic League is sending over 2 fighters, one of whom is Bruce the Cop. There's also a gym called Unanimous that's sending over 2 fighters, Maximus and Minimus.
Okay.
And the Franklin Street gym has a champion featherweight named Willem.
Okay. So it's Blood Disco, Chicago PD, Unanimous, Franklin Street, and there's one that
Broken Charlie.
Broken. Okay.
He's a trainer. He's a private trainer. He's got one client. He's going to send over Phil. He thinks Phil can do it. Now, for each level of these fights, starting at the top and working our way down, I've got a certain number of dice for everybody to throw. I was going to make them different dice, but I think if we keep it even, it'll be good. So the first fight will be like a contest between 2d8 versus 2d8.
Okay.
So they're like the big heavyweights. It will go all the way down to the lightweight, the featherweight division there, where we've got 2 guys that are going to roll 1d4 against each other.
Okay.
Now, they'll end up being like a lightweight champion and sort of a heavyweight champion. It's not likely that they're going to be able to fight just because of the disparity in dice.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how close it comes, and maybe we'll just have them throw down an exhibition. As they progress each round, they're going to pick up 1 more D4. So like the guy who wins the 2d8 round will go on to the next round, 2d8, 1d4.
It's like they get the momentum going.
Yeah. But everybody goes up by that D4, so it remains sort of even. And then we'll see how it all comes out.
Yeah.
For tonight, Hate Church has its own fights. Now, it does not have fights between Kindred. Unless you start one. But these aren't legitimate betting opportunities. The legitimate betting opportunity comes at the end of Reverend Ezekiel's big homily, where he says, "Make a ring," and center of the dance floor, boom, 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 a wall of people make the square circle about 15 feet across, almost perfectly too. There are no ropes. There's just spectators. So when they get pushed to the side, they often get pushed back in, or sometimes just
shiv a bit. Yeah.
Sometimes they get punched, thrown back in the ring. This is how it goes down. This is where you're going to be able to recruit 3 fighters. You want to throw some dice?
Yeah.
Now let's get some skirmish music going here. Something. Yeah, all right. There we go. The first fight of the evening is Crazy Freddy versus McGee. Crazy Freddy and McGee are not the biggest guys in the room, but they're the biggest guys that are going to fight tonight. So they're 1d8, 1d4 apiece.
All right. So you roll one, I roll the other one.
No, you roll 1d8 and 1d4. I roll 1d8 and 1d4, and then we'll see who gets better.
Right.
You're playing McGee. I'll be Crazy Freddy.
All right. All my other dice are on the other side of the house, so I'm just gonna make these rolls and roll 20.
You need to beat a 4, and McGee wins the first round.
All right.
Oh, with just his D8. Oh, Crazy Freddy. He's got no technique. McGee wins the first round, and he is available for you to recruit to fight for the Lion's Den.
All right.
The next round is an upstart named Downbeat, who's going to be facing off against Bruce. They are going to roll 1d6 apiece. Bruce got a 4, and Downbeat got a 5. Oh, the house is not doing good here tonight. All right, finally down to the last fight of the evening. It's two little guys. It's Tiny Mite and Ratface. Yes, I enjoyed making these names up. They're going to roll a d4 apiece.
Alrighty.
Ah! Finally, Tiny Mite takes a win.
We got McGee, Downbeat, and Tiny Mike or Tiny Mite?
Mite, M-I-T-E.
Lord.
Now, they are available for you to recruit and bring into your fight on Sunday night. Let's.
And they'll wait for when they finish their fights. They'll keep eyes on them from a little elevated position to see where they are, and make the rounds, round them up, bring them all a drink, some kind of like upper mid shelf, like nice stout spirit.
They are human.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Hate Church is all about. It's about testing people and finding the best of them. So these are your guys. They will love to come and fight for the Lion's Den.
And he'll just bring out a his business card. Like our business cards are a little rumpled, and like some of them definitely have bloodstains on them. Not sure if it's part of the design or if they're just there. The address is on the back. I look forward to seeing you on fight night.
Reverend Ezekiel will approach and say, "Hello, I'm Reverend E. It's good to meet you finally. I hear you're looking for some fighters. It seemed like you found them."
I did. It was quite a scuffle. I had to restrain myself. I wanted to join the melee so badly, but alas, I'm on business.
Yeah, well, if you ever want to arrange something, let me know. We do specials every now and again. Might surprise some of the people in here. But let's talk just a little business here for a second.
Of course.
I don't mind you taking the fighters from my space. We're gonna keep it quiet though, right? This is my little secret. But should my fighters succeed in your tournament, I'd like to get my manager's taste.
No, but of course, I am so against poaching. It is one of the lowest, most cowardly crimes. I would never dream of it. In fact, should your fighters be the majority coming out on top, well, I think there would be it would be the beginning of what might be a very prosperous relationship between our two establishments.
I like the way you talk. All right. Now I'm going to come too. I like to watch myself a good fight. Obviously, I like what's going on here too.
Of course, I will save you a guest of honor seat among my crowd.
I thank you and I appreciate it.
That's a man of your status, father. And I am a church-going man myself, or I was. But now I see one that runs on my kind of hours and tells my kind of message.
If you're going to be a church goer, this is the church to go to.
As I could feel the power when I was on my way down that elevator. It was you run a modern marvel here, Father. It was very well done.
He invites you to enjoy, imbibe, take what you can.
And Arthur will. Now he's got invitation from the head of the house himself. He's gonna go hog wild.
If you remain, if you stay all night, it will eventually descend into a bloodbath. It will just turn into a feeding frenzy where many of the caitiff, they were embraced without knowledge of who they are or how to restrain themselves. So on a fairly nightly basis, this place ends up with some bodies on the floor. Not all of them, obviously. Some walk away. But
you know, if the house takes care of disposing of the bodies, Arthur's gonna eat his fill for the first time in a long time.
How wonderful for you. Roll that strength brawl feeding thing that you do. And we will put that.
Okay, that is a 10, a 10, and a 9.
Oh, so good. You aren't just feeding. You have your pick of the litter in this place. What do you like? Do you want one that's going to fight back? Do you want a little struggle in them? A little floppy fish action?
Yeah, the old boxer's tango on a blood slick floor. First one who goes down for good.
You actually can just shove a guy. He'll turn around, trade a couple of blows, and fall in the middle of the dance floor. People are hopping, people are popping, and nobody notices a thing. You just go down and
Arthur just straight up like headbutts the guy, knocks him back, and just doesn't go for the side of the throat. He just goes right for the middle.
Ah, yes.
And just he takes some ground beef back out with him after he's I needed this.
Yes, you don't eat the flesh, but
yeah, he's not a Nakaraja, but yeah.
And spit it out. You get a bit of that trachea in there. Oh, it's good stuff. A little crunch with your bite for a change. Slake all your hunger, and this poor unsuspecting bastard will die on the floor of the cathedral.
Just be like, blessed be my son. And then, and after he's had his fill, Arthur will leave.
Awful. You're just terrible. You
someone made the mistake of calling Arthur stable, and that is farthest from the truth.
Let me how's your humanity doing?
It's at 6.
How do you feel about killing somebody? Because you don't usually feed that way.
Not usually, but that's because it's messy and it's
here. It was permissive. It was
it was permissive. Everyone here, it was like being in this place. It's more or less consent for knowing what could happen.
In a way, it is. All of them are hopeful that they'll be chosen. The humans, they wish to find their immortality. Sometimes they find the wrong kind of immortality. When you get back upstairs, Napoleon will be waiting for you. He'll chuck his head and look up at the blood coming out of your mouth, and he might even come up and
yeah, a good boy. He has to give Papa a bath. But I do hope to come again. This was a gas.
By the time you get out of here, let's say it's around 2 and maybe 3 in the morning, you're halfway through your evening. Lilith and and Julian, you guys have finished the show, but Julian, I do want you to roll your 2 rouse checks so that you can appear on camera.
Okay.
You're yeah, there we go. There's one, and there's the other.
Okay.
So you're
Okay.
a little bit hungrier.
Got 2 hunger.
But you successfully make yourself physical, make yourself heard. You are able to bring the shadows up and around you as you begin your show. Did you have a topic in mind?
I think it would be networking.
The importance of
The importance of it, and sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and your real friends will understand the conditions, and you never know. Old friendships can become new friendships again if you keep yourself open to it.
and on the show, you'll have a couple of feuding politicians who you're going to try to bring together on some uniform topic.
Yes.
There. Wonderful show. People will tune in to see this because most likely it'll turn into a fight.
It did.
Then another good episode. The Arthur is done with his experience for the night. You guys are done with your show for the evening. It's a little bit after midnight, maybe between midnight and 2. Any plans for either of you?
Yeah, I'll ask. So, sorry I missed your calls. How did it go?
Oh, Lilith, tell the tale.
Real quick, I've got a question about the V phones. I'm assuming you can't just like use them like they're nothing, or can like other people as far as noticing that you're using it.
Yeah, there's
Like,
nothing.
were we
wrong
told
with
that we need to keep it under wraps or anything? Like, we can't. Okay, all right. So I would be periodically texting during the show.
Oh yeah, you can text, you can tweet, you can surf.
Right, but I'm talking to one specific person, just asking what he's up to, how he's doing, whatnot. Yeah.
And who is that G?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I think.
Okay, and so then I would turn to Julian and say, explain basically what happened, that we met over at the Lion's Den to try to come up with a plan. We were able to determine that they were still in the cemetery, and we were able to draw them out, and it came down to us having to fight them and then disposing of them later in a dumpster fire.
I am so glad that it all worked out. It's fantastic.
It was a literal dumpster fire. That was Arthur's contribution. That they threw the bodies in a dumpster and started a fire.
It's nothing if not subtle. Other than that. Well, congratulations on a successful mission.
Yeah, it appears that we've been able to get a lot accomplished over the past couple of days. I think that the sheriff will be really happy, and the prince, I'm sure he's elated. So
the Elysium has been set for Sunday late night, midnight. Sierra Van Burris is finally feeling better. She's managed to recover her damage, and they're going to have a proper meeting of all of the Primogen, all of the influential kindred of Chicago, and the prince will make his announcement and decree that evening regarding the situation with the La Sombra coming to town.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, knowing that information, I would turn to Julian and say, what do you think of Morris La Sombra coming? I was able to find people who are like me, and it felt really good.
So I'll if we're not already in my office, we will be now.
No, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Probably
low key. Yeah.
I assume that that's what you were thinking, Lilith, but I don't trust. I don't trust him.
Right. No, definitely. I assumed that there were no
Yeah.
witnesses around, or at least not paying attention to the conversation. But yeah.
Um, yeah. So, to answer your question first, I honestly am a little bit apprehensive. It is it's always a risk having a new ingredient put into the stew, so to speak. Um, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure, you can ask.
Um, when you say you met up with some of your people, what kinds of people?
Do you remember when we were first tasked with dispatching certain members around the city from
Yes,
interfering?
yes, vividly.
I felt like I had a certain connection with one of them, and I asked to go back alone.
Yeah.
Well, I went back to him
Uh,
for a second time. He
this is
showed me what it's like, where I fit, and how it is to be a vampire.
this is the Bruja.
Yes, Genghis.
There we go. The first time you've actually said his name, at least to Julian.
Yeah.
So, are you a Bruja?
I mean, I think that that's who I am. I mean, I've been through the time when I was in the academy. It was a whirlwind. I thought that I was a Toreador. I was presented by a Toreador, but that wasn't me.
I do know something about complex relationships with your sire.
Yes, yes. If I remember correctly, Caridius presented you.
Yes, but he's not my sire.
This is true, but
But yes, so I take it the one that presented you is not your sire.
no, she is not.
Who is? Do you know?
I know only by name, and I know that I should not speak of it, and that I shall not.
I see.
It's the
Well,
name that was crossed out in the book when you were at Critias's.
so I did a little bit of digging because I was curious. Some of the inconsistencies between the clan that you said you were a part of and the one that you actually are a part of explains a whole lot. Um, the name of your sire is in the book, but obscured.
Yes,
If I could
probably for
offer,
the same reasons why I am not allowed to say.
I'm honestly not incredibly interested in who it is. It doesn't really matter for my purposes. But a word of caution, if I may.
What would that be?
What you say has a longer memory to those that hear it than those that say it. So if you say that you're a Toreador, I would just caution you to remember that and to attempt, if at all possible, to act accordingly, even when you think people aren't paying attention, because I assure you they are. It just so happens that even with your resistance, I have no ill will towards you. Otherwise, some of the things that I found would be incredibly troubling.
You were within this transition with me, alongside of me. In fact, over my head in some of the time, without my knowledge, without my agreement, and it made me uncomfortable. But now going forward, I hope that I can put that aside.
I'm honestly, Lilith, not talking about our personal interactions. I'm talking about the fact that you are claiming publicly to be a Toreador, and yet it is fairly obvious that you are not a Toreador.
I am not
This-
a Toreador. This is right. Yes.
Okay.
I okay, I dressed fancy for tonight. I didn't expect you to want me to walk around with your celebrity guests in
I'm
my normal garb. I
I-
needed to put this on. I didn't tell anyone here I was Toreador. I am not Toreador, I am Bruja.
okay. I feel like you think that I am judging you, but I'm honestly not.
I'm just, what I'm trying to get across is I am no longer a Toreador. I am not pretending to be a Toreador.
Does
I thought
Annabelle
I was, but
We
I
gotta
am
get
a
the
Bruja.
overlays changed. That's what we got to do.
does Annabelle know that?
I don't think she would know my name. I'm too low. I'm nobody to her.
That's a maybe. It's maybe not.
That would be my opinion
I feel like
on the fact.
you have very strong opinions, which are great. I would probably ask more questions than make general statements. A question you might choose to ask would be, why do you think that Annabelle would care? And to which I'd say, probably. But like I said, I I understand that you have strong opinions, and it seems like you view my interests or my questions as some type of judgment of your place, judgment of your choices. Honestly, I don't really care, not in the bad way, but you're free to make whatever choices you want.
You didn't respect my choice of being private.
because because that wasn't just your choice, my dear. That was a choice that affects your coterie. And a group that presents themselves politically as having members from several factions, that actually has one member who is willingly or not, intentionally or not, pretending to be from one faction and is actually another, does not bode well for the longevity of that coterie. You
I
you
don't I
might
don't
you
know what you want me to say, but from here on out I will be as transparent as possible.
okay.
He
Okay.
does have a certain point in that the number of kindred and who has what in the city is kind of a recorded number. So for you to be Bruja instead of Toreador is -1 to the Toreador and +1 to the Bruja. It
Right.
does change some of the dynamic in the city.
Right.
Also, there is the question now, and that hasn't been brought up, but your embracing of the Bruja is through an anarch.
Right.
Which I know.
Yeah,
Right.
which he knows, but my question now is how Bruja are you getting? And is he taking you away from your entire sect, not
Right.
just clan?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Genghis is not a Camarilla.
He is not. He
Right.
is one of
I'm
Yeah.
saying to Lilith.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry. I thought you were looking for clarity from me.
He is not, this is right, but I hope that me beginning to learn this realm, I'll be able to, through, he was my only connection. He was my connection into this world, into the world of a Bruja. I hope that I hope to remain distant with him, but and through my work with us as a coterie, follow the Camarilla.
A little emoji pops up on your phone that is a response from the last text you had just sent Genghis.
I'm
Doesn't
trying
seem
to.
like the perfect time for that.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Does she look at her? Do you look at your phone?
no, I wouldn't look at it. I would just feel the vibrate or
Yeah, I
whatever in
just-
my pocket.
How do I say this delicately? You say that you're learning this new world. what have you learned about the Camaria's acceptance of members within it not actually being Camaria? Did your new
I
teacher?
don't intend to be any sort of undercover spy. I hope to be involved in the Camarilla. If that's, I need you to be more straightforward with me. I don't need you to tiptoe on my feelings.
I'm so every time that I've attempted to be straightforward with you, you have blown up at me. So forgive me for being a little bit apprehensive. Would you like me to be straightforward with you right now?
Yes.
You are setting yourself up to meet the true death. You are setting your coterie up to meet the true death. You are not inquisitive as to how things really work if you say that you are learning. And you are, whether you'd like to be or not, a spy for the Anarchs in the Camarilla.
How am I a spy? I talked to him. Yes, he showed me who what was that guy with the Malkavian? I forgot his name.
Son, or
Yeah.
or the guy, the horn player you met.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's who took me to the horn and the flute.
Yeah.
And I mean, I am doing all this for the Camarilla. I have no ulterior motive. What can I do to convince you, the coterie, the rest of the Camarilla of this?
I think I have an idea, because you know something right now that Julian does not know,
Hmm.
and it's sitting in your pocket.
Hmm.
There
I
were,
know.
I'm just saying, he's questioning your loyalty. Well, not questioning your loyalty, but advising you that your loyalty under question could lead to your death and the death of the ones around him. And he's basing that on your association with Genghis, assuming that Genghis, the Anarch, is setting you up as a spy, as an infiltrator.
Whether that's true, whether it's true or not, the questions being asked, I don't care. I don't give a fuck whether or not.
Do we? Okay. I'll take it back. Okay. Do you know how the prince asked for a second phone? The prince.
No, not at all. Do you?
Yes.
How was that?
Well, he gave it to Genghis. Genghis has been talking to me through this phone.
I'm okay. So I
The
guess
prince.
so is the implication is that because the prince gave Genghis the phone, that you all are all on the same page, which includes the other members of the Primogen Council, and that I guess the Anarchs are attempting to join the Camarilla.
I haven't gotten a chance to work this out with Genghis. I haven't gotten a chance to figure out how this all came to be. I just know I got a text from Genghis last night right before Torpor. That's all I know. I
What did it say?
think it just said hello, but I don't remember. Or no, I got one too, I think is what it said. G. It was signed by G.
This is troublesome, potentially problematic.
Potentially, we thought that the Lasombra would never join the Camarilla. There could be something there, something that the prince would definitely know,
You
and
asked me how
Genghis would know more about.
you asked me what I felt about the Lasombra joining, and I essentially said
Yes,
potentially problematic.
right,
It's
correct.
not just you.
Yeah.
What happens to you if the merging of the Anarchs and the Camarilla fail?
I haven't thought of that. I don't know. I don't even know if that's what's intended. These are all questions. I think we need to ask. I mean, we're having an Elysium. Maybe we see what happens there.
But don't you think
Maybe.
you should tell your coterie that you're not actually a member of the Camarilla?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
I have been involved in the Camarilla.
You just being involved in. I mean, we went to Gary, Indiana, and we were involved in the gangrel over there. That doesn't mean we're part of them. I'm in. You are now. You claim not claim as in your line, but you claim you're a Bruja now under Genghis, who is an anarch, which makes you an anarch.
My loyalty has not been changed just
So you're not
because
loyal to the anarchs.
correct. Why would I be? He is just someone who taught me what my true clan is. I don't have any allegiance to answer to him.
If your clan, is the Bruja, then
There
you
are
do.
Bruja in the Camarilla, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your allegiance is the Bruja, are you a member of Disabled?
Well, he's Tremere. You mean?
Oh, sorry. Who's Bruja?
Critias.
Critias.
Are you are you a member of Critias's?
I would say yes.
Would he say yes?
Within the Bruja, I should clarify, there are Hellenes, and
Oh, right.
Furores. Genghis is a Furore, and Critias is a Hellene, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Not that these are just two aspects of the Bruja ideal. One of them is the more intellectual side, and one of them is the more physical side. Genghis, as an anarch, represents the more impulsive physical side of the Bruja. Critias, as an intellectual, represents the more philosophical debate side of the Bruja. No one is asking you to actually choose between these two, but you are
Right. I mean, I am being asked that.
Well, no, not between the Hellenes
I'm
and the
not
Furores.
asking.
He's asking between Camarilla and Anarch.
Right.
You have,
and I have answered every time Camarilla.
yeah, I was just saying,
Yes.
you might be a bit of a Furore, but you're still in the Camarilla.
Okay.
Right.
So I suppose then your listing in Critias's book is wrong. We should probably ask him to change it.
This is true. I mean, we need to correct the misstep that was out of my control.
Great. That it's settled.
Perfect timing, too, because your phone will ring. In fact, both of your phones will ring at exactly the same time.
Spooky.
And Arthur's phone will ring at that same time. And Sisters Vindicta's phone will ring at that same time. One of the features of this V phone is to conference call immediately. You don't have to connect people once you're on a single call. You could call all four at once.
How handy.
Damien would like to speak to the group.
Oh, Lord.
So Arthur, having just arrived back at the surface, another thing that you should know about your V phone. You can't interrupt the signal between your V phone and another V phone. If you are away from a cellular network, they will still work between each other, even when you can't reach the internet or a Wi-Fi or a cellular signal. You could still reach one of the other phones. So from way beneath Chicago in this hidden cathedral under the city, your phone could have rang, but it didn't until you got up top. It's Damien.
Hello, Damien.
Yeah, we got a problems here. All right, look, there's no easy way to say this, but it's I'm gonna wait for her to come back and sit down because she's gonna want to be sitting down when she hears this. It's Malenkov.
Oh, fuck.
Sierra sent him a message, and he sent back a big old fuck you with a severed head. We need you to go get him.
Sorry.
Oh,
How?
this.
Well, I mean, if you can't talk him into it, I mean, you might have to restrain him somehow.
So, I've how?
Like, like I would know how to do something like that to that animal.
Fuck if I know.
That is,
Find an elephant cage or something. I don't know.
That won't hold him. I mean,
True.
Damien,
he
honestly.
can turn into goop.
Yeah, my dear friend. I feel like this is
Well, you just got to get him to show up at the Elysium. He needs to be there for the prince's decree and all that stuff.
right.
So, I mean, if you could talk him into a grade, otherwise, stake in his heart and bring his body.
What is so? Do we know why he does not want to attend?
If I'm being honest, I don't think he was ever going to come to a meeting. I just think he did what Tally told him to do, and that was it.
Okay.
Have you put her into contact with him again to see if she can leash him in?
She tried to get him that message, but
When perhaps we engage with her in person, he might be less inclined, by the sounds of it, less inclined to bulk her authority if she's there in person.
you wanted to come along with you, I can ask, because she's feeling better.
And it's only if of course, if the lady is willing and ready to go. But if we have to go and stake him and return him to the Elysium, it's a guest brought in after all the work we did to make sure that they would be unharmed and unmolested, as short-lived as that was, would reflect poorly, especially with those that we've had to curtail and heal.
Yeah, look, like I said, talking him into it would be a better thing. But the prince wants him there.
So either we can contact the madame, or you can, to see if she is willing to bring her friend to bear.
Mercifully, I'll stop doing the voice. Damien will tell you that he was last seen at the Glory Pit, which is another kind of like Beaubien's club, only dirtier and skankier.
The Malenkov, you dirty boy.
After having kind of gone through a run of seedy bars where he drained a couple of people, he left some bodies on the ground. He severed a head just to answer Sierra's message. He didn't. That wasn't to do with anything else except his way of saying no.
Was it a kindred head?
No, just a human head. But again, he's leaving violations of the Masquerade almost everywhere he goes.
Don't you think that maybe a more concentrated, purposeful commitment of resources might be advisable, Damien?
I'm not out to just create a war zone in Chicago so that I can capture one fucking guy.
Oh, of course not. Right. Okay.
We could roll tanks on him, but what good would that do, right?
You have
it would,
tanks?
it would stop, the Inquisition from noticing his movements.
It's bad, that's all it takes too, is somebody with a cell phone to be click.
Sounds like you're speaking against your argument right now.
No,
but
no.
Okay, we will
we can't allow him to keep doing this.
I
He
agree.
needs to show up at the Elysium to hear what the prince's decree is going to be, regard whether or not he can stay.
Okay. Well, we'll
Does
try our best.
Damien, does this place that he's in, does the council have any particular pull, or is it outside of the Camaria's purview?
What, the Glory Pit?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's owned by, if I'm right, the guy who owns Red Number 5, Bennett Stedman. He's just another businessman here in town. Yeah, he doesn't want Malenkov in his place.
Yes. Well,
Who knows what he's already done?
See if he can't lock down the building. Nobody gets out until we come in.
Yeah, that we can do, and I can have Sierra meet you over there.
That would be fantastic. Do it,
Okay,
please.
great. Bye, Damien. We'll let you know how it goes.
I am gonna make baby chorus pop up on all your phones the next time he calls.
No.
Baby chorus is better than
V-phone
baby shark.
project unsuccessful. smash all
Right.
Okay. Well, let's go prove our loyalty to the Camarilla together, shall we? This takes
Onward
a
and
lot.
upward. Yeah.
Is
Here we
this
go again.
Is this still on? Old man with a phone.
I'm gonna take my, put my overcoat on, grab my glove, put it in the pocket, and
All right.
Oh yes, your wonderful the tipped glove.
Oh,
From-
tonight. Do you think? Wait, hang on. Sorry. Are we going tonight, or are we talking about later?
Yeah.
It's like
No.
2, almost 3 in the morning.
Okay.
not
Okay. Sorry, I just had a little bit. Grace had a panic attack just then.
We'll be fine. He's just a really old Lasombra. What the fuck can he do?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
How
Here we go.
how dangerous could he possibly be?
Yeah, I just saw him amoeba someone not a couple nights ago. Don't forget
We know
about
he
it.
can walk during the daytime. Like, not that that's a big deal. Anyway,
Well, he doesn't walk during the daytime. They had to carry him in a body bag. Malenkov.
He's gone through Golconda.
okay.
He's still, fire and sunlight still hurt him. Something to keep in mind.
Great.
All right.
Do I have that more money now, by the way?
He wants a nicer car.
I think he wants to escape. I think he's going to buy a jet and
Yeah.
an island.
Oh, I
Yes.
see.
Buy one of those personal island, like man-made islands off the coast of Dubai, and just never leave.
Exactly.
All right.
Might want to pick someplace less sunny, but yeah.
It still gets dark. It's not desert sun all the time.
And while your businesses are seeming to do better, it hasn't been quite long enough for you to amass a whole new fortune.
Okay, that was all I wanted to know. Has it
You
been
still have
deposited
lots
into
of
my?
resources.
I know that. I have big plans though. This is bullshit. Yeah, let's head over to talk. Let's head over to talk to old buddy Lasombra. Hey, maybe he can teach me a new trick.
Right. All right.
Yeah, so let's see if he does. The glory pit on your map is just off of the I-90 to the west of Chinatown on the lower west side. It's a dive. This is just going to be a pretty horrible looking bondage and blowjob room. It's obviously for whores and for drugs and for sex, and when you get there from the outside, it looks closed.
Little pig, let me in.
Sierra will show up in a little while. She's looking much, much better. Dressed properly. She has flesh in her cheeks. She's trying to do that blush of life thing in case anybody sees her. So I thank you for coming. I'm sorry my brother's so much of this.
We just hope to prevent any further incidents, and then the sooner you do your business, the sooner he can go back to a place he is more comfortable.
Look at her sheet. What does she do? She doesn't have the oblivion powers that he does, but she's a little better with dominate. So maybe we can try something there. But
Can I see inside the place?
through one of the windows, you mean, or just?
Yeah.
The lights seem off, except for a kind of a red glow coming from down the hall.
Not ominous at all.
Okay. Then I'm going to look in.
Shadow perspective.
Yeah, I just thought it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can. There are so many shadows in this room. Your consciousness melts out of your mind and sort of spreads along the ground and up the walls on the inside of the glory pit. You see the darkened room with the cash register and where the greeter usually sits. Down the hall, it keeps going. You're not hearing any noise except sort of a click, 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 click. The shadows will take you down the hall further. It's like it says, it's like looking through a keyhole. You're sort of getting an image of what's happening. You see bodies laying on the ground. You hear the click, click noise. And when you get to the end of the hall, there's a room with one of those just standard desk lamp with a red silk scarf thrown over it, giving off a red light in the room. And Malenkov is there. And he's just sort of sitting amongst the blood and bodies. He's just flicking a lighter.
Well, he's in there, and it appears that he is expecting some type of company. He doesn't appear to be moving. So, shall we? Serena, you first, if you will.
Sierra,
Oh, Sierra. Yeah.
She will open the door and try to come in. Brother? Don't really hear much, but eventually that click, click noise. Turn that down a little bit. Will stop. That click, click will stop. And he'll just say, fuck off. From down the hall. She's like, I don't think he's going to be receptive. But we could try.
Do you know why he's so angry? I mean, beyond the general. Why he's so specifically angry?
I don't.
Does it have anything to do, you might suspect, with why you're here?
I can't speak to what he believes politically. I've never known him to be a very political creature. But if he has animosity against the Camarilla, perhaps this was a bad idea.
Hindsight is better. Well, fuck it. And Julian will walk down the hallway.
Sierra will go with you. And you will come into that room with Malenkov just flicking his Zippo lighter.
Arthur will follow behind.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go into the room, but I'll at least go down the hallway.
You could be in the hallway?
I mean, like, I'll be following behind. I'm scared. And I'm still hurt.
You are a little still hurt.
Yeah.
Sierra is going to try to reason with him, but it's not likely that she's going to get through.
Are we able to assist on that roll?
I have an idea.
What is your idea?
Just Arthur will knock on the frames, but
Oh.
I
Malenkov,
know what you're gonna do.
Malenkov, my friend, I see you seem, I don't know if it's distressed, bored, or a bit of both.
Yes. Bored and distressed.
Don't do it.
Well, you understand this. those of us with the drive to do this, they can be hard to restrain. What if I were to show you a place you didn't have to?
The shadows grow off of Malenkov and up into the room. Every corner just turns black behind him and right up and next to him. He just keeps flicking. Tell me what you mean.
There is a magical place, a secret place that I have just learned of, and I have just sampled. And for someone like me, who is, of course, I am just a dog. I am nothing compared to a artisan like yourself. But you would love it. If you attend the Elysium, I would be more than happy to put your name forward into this wonderful court of miracles.
He's going to have to. Malenkov is going to rouse himself.
Oh, goodness gracious. No, no.
We'll see how he does here. Oh, he's not feeling any hungrier. That's good. How do I want to do this? His shadows that have been
Explodes.
nice and calm and just sort of rolling around him in a big ball are going to come out in two tentacles and grab you, Arthur.
I have read The Fisherman's Wife. I know where this goes.
You can dex athletics to try to avoid this.
Am I feeling like tension, like pulling at me, like he's trying to rip me apart?
Only if he grabs you. So first try to avoid his grab.
Okay.
Beat a
Yes,
4. It's
death.
pretty easy.
Dex, not death athletics, stupid
Yeah.
mouth. Dex athletics.
Not yet.
Right.
That is. I need to be. That's only success was a 10. That's 2. I'm gonna spend. I can spend a willpower to roll the other 2 dice, right?
Yes, you can. And Adam, if
Yep, I'm going to do that because I don't want to be dinner. No better.
then you feel two shadowy arms just kind of reach out, grab your arms, and pull apart. You're held for just a second.
If you kill me, you find no way in.
Hang on. Okay. I am not used to running a La Sombra. All right. He's got to rouse himself again. He's going to rouse one more time. Oh, and he is getting hungrier. But this time, you're going to, he's got you, Arthur. He's got your arms held by his shadows. He's still sitting on the edge of the bed, just flicking the Zippo. Click, click, click. And you feel a charge of electricity just go searing through your body from one arm through the other. It just burns you from the inside. You are taking 2 points of aggravated damage.
Oh God.
Okay. I am going to
Do fortitude.
Now, one of your arms, Arthur,
Mm-hmm.
is going to fall useless. If it's been too shocked or pulled out of its socket, you can't even feel it at this point.
Are you quite done?
I haven't even begun.
Then
And
you
what-
will never. Then you will never know, and you will be hunted.
I'm going to step out of the shadows.
You're gonna shadow step? Do you do that?
No, I'm just going to
Oh.
I'm just going to walk out.
Oh. Another one. What do you want, Montano?
Would you care?
They are going to kill me. Does that not bother you?
Who's going to kill you specifically?
The prince.
Why?
Lithium bullshit. If you take me there, it's where I die.
Why do they want you dead, Malenka?
I am never joining the Camarilla. You understand?
Very well. So why not just leave?
And go where? My clan has been decimated. It's in shambles. We went hunting for ancients and they destroyed us. We revealed ourselves to the Inquisition and now we're hunted by mortals and ancients alike. No. My clan thinks that the Camarilla is the only safe place left. I'd rather hide beneath the sands of Egypt, which I have done.
So what are you going to do?
I'm not going to let them bait me into a trap and kill me.
I'm going to just run my hand across the shadowy tentacle that he has wrapped around Arthur. I know what you are. I know what she is. And the Camarilla, even if they were to accept you, they wouldn't really know what you are. They can never know.
I have to see this one.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. Again, it's hard to
He's if I see him do any fucking thing at all to try to wrap me up, I'm jumping.
He's not trying to wrap you up, but he's doing that thing he does, which means he's trying to rouse himself yet again. He's not any hungrier, but this time he's going to look at you, Julian, and you can fight this look with a composure intelligence.
Okay.
No modifiers. Beat a 3 with your composure intelligence.
I'll reroll one.
Do good.
Power reroll.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
His eyes flash like there's lightning inside of them. You feel his anger. You feel the terror that he's putting inside of you. You feel as if you might burst into a frenzy at any moment. But you're able to hold it back. And you don't. He's tried to channel your own anger, but you hold it back. He's a little disappointed. Oh, let it go. Let it go. Feel it.
I always feel it. But I was raised that you don't let other people tell you when to unleash it, Malenkov. Tisk tisk on you for trying to do that to me.
Oh, mister, I manipulate the shadows too. You know nothing.
I do know nothing. I was hoping to learn.
Is that what it would take?
I
If I teach you, if I give this to you, I know what you would like. There's only one of us left in the world who even knows how. But I need to go. You part like the ocean, the seas, and I walk through you. And you never see me again. I never see you again. Or, and he lifts Arthur
Yeah.
a little bit off the ground.
I'm going to say I am under
I'm gonna
no
rouse.
impression that we could stop you even if we wanted to, which I don't want to.
And Arthur, you can strength brawl to
That's
fight your way away from these shadows.
that's why I rolled a rouse to
Yeah.
activate prowess.
There you go.
So I can add my 2 dots of potence to any brawl or feats of strength.
Yes.
If that would.
So do that +2 when you get to the modifiers.
Yeah, so strength brawl. So it's 3 brawl, 3 strength, and then 2 from potence. That's more like it. Okay, let's see. That's but he's fucking old as dirt, so it's probably gonna be. I mean, 2, 4, 5, 6 successes.
6 successes. Let's see what he does. You struggle. You fight back. He had lifted you off the ground, but you yank it back, and the shadows let go. And they just sort of behind Malenkov. And he just keeps flicking. Ugh. Big tough guy.
Milenkov.
There's
Go
an
ahead.
offer on the table. Let the Montano decide.
I look at the rest of them. Leave the room.
He has asked, Lilith, I don't think you ever actually got in this room.
Pretty much.
And from what you can hear, even from the hallway, the scream that Arthur put out, and yeah, no, you probably don't even want to be in this room.
Nope.
So Arthur, you and Napoleon.
No, just stand outside the threshold of the door, and he'll just.
And Sierra will give you some time to work your magic. She'll back out of the room too.
I'll close the door.
He will envelop both of you in a big ball of quiet shadow. From outside in the hall, they won't hear you.
Okay.
He's going to mute this conversation a bit.
I'm going to step close and I'm going to go down on one knee. And I'm going to say, what have you seen? I want to learn so much from you.
I have seen the living shadow, and I can become one with it. He will demonstrate if you like.
I
Though
would.
he has to this is a wildly powerful, and I'm going to pop this up there in the chat or in the side here. The vampire gains the ability to change their very substance into that of a shadow, becoming a two-dimensional patch of darkness able to slither over any surface and through minuscule gaps and cracks. While in this form, the vampire is only harmed by fire and sunlight. It takes 2 rouse checks on his part and 1 entire turn to make it happen. He's fine there, and he's fine there. But what you see are the shadows that were around you kind of fall in behind him. His skin starts to bubble and turn black. It pops and bursts and dissolves. And you see just black hand shadows going up the wall, over the ceiling, back down. He crawls around you as a shadow. You can feel when he tightens his grip and then loosens and falls to the floor again. It's like a cloak. It's like a fleshy, shadowy cloak that can do amazing things. You also feel his power. You know that when he's wrapped around you, that if he does that touch of oblivion like he did with Arthur earlier, you take 2 points of damage like that. The puddle reforms itself into Malenkov, who looks a little tired. It's difficult, but it's possible.
Where will you go?
South, probably. Mexico City. I think there's plenty of Sabat there. I can find a wife.
I wasn't given a choice, you know, to be
None
here.
of us were.
I know you think less of me. I haven't forgotten our ways, but I was placed here. I wasn't given a choice.
What is your decision? Are you going to take my gift and let me go? Mind you, you'll suffer the consequences.
I have a very strong, reasonable excuse in that if I tried to make you, you'd kill us all anyway. So it's a pretty easy one.
If you actually think, yes, that he could kill you all, there's a reason they sent 5 of you. I'm just going to throw that out there. And a dog. Or 4 of you and a dog.
They also sent Alessandra to kill Alessandra. Seems mean. Before, are you sure that they mean to kill you?
Did you read the letter? Tally sent a letter.
No.
Actually, yeah, you did.
I thought that was the letter that we weren't supposed to read.
Eventually, when that meeting, he had that meeting on the rooftop with the prince, he read the letter and then said, fuck, and let you guys read it. The message that Tally sent that I think Malenkov is referring to is that it turned to Sierra for businesses of negotiation and turned to Malenkov for the business of war. Meaning, if they were going to say no, Malenkov was going to be a target. He's almost been betrayed by his own clan because they knew he would never go along with this. What he is the price of admission. If, and this, I think you and him could see it together. If the La Sombra are going to be brought into the Camarilla, it's those like him that can't come along. And that will be the price. If a La Sombra wants to join the Camarilla, they'll have to bring the head of an elder.
I don't particularly want the La Sombra to join the Camarilla.
It's not like the Anarchs would ask for a head.
And
Then
we're
they
so-
can't protect our clan either.
things are in motion that I might be able to make a place for some.
You could make a place for some in Chicago?
I believe I can.
You're right that I don't respect you. However, I think you would be a good leader. I know that doesn't sound right, but you are more what my clan needs now than me. I hate it. Doesn't mean they're wrong.
Do you
Take
want
my gift or take my life. That's only what I ask.
Oh, fuck. So he's willing to go if I ask him to.
He might be.
Okay.
This is so tense.
I guess I have one more question for him then.
Questions. So
Do
many
you-
questions.
do
I
you want-
prefer action, but
Do you want others to join? Do you want me to make a place for them?
my sister's here. She's smart. She's manipulative. She's clever in devious ways. You'd like her, I think. She would fit in your city. She would be a crown jewel in the prince's tiara. But I am no good for here. There are some, like you, Montano. That might be the thing to do. My sister, this would be a good home for her.
If you leave, what will happen to her at the Elysium?
She won't have her price of admission, well, will she?
Then you should come with me.
Come with you? You see what I mean? If I go,
If you don't, you send your sister back to die, don't you?
unless there was a better offer, yes. Tally would not accept failure.
Then it seems like you've left a very difficult decision to me to save yourself from having to make it yourself.
I
I can offer a voice to give her a place, but she has to live to do that. And as much as I would love for you to teach me, I know you won't do both.
I'm gonna roll something for Malenkov.
Uh-oh,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I
That was-
hate DM rolling. There's nothing worse than
Well-
it.
Well, this is a decision I don't actually want to make,
Yeah. How about that?
but I want it to have real reason behind it.
While the silence is happening, is there anything in the adjacent rooms that can be found and broken down for a very rough steak?
Yeah,
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 I'm gonna
you
do
can-
that.
you could. There's already probably a smashed chair somewhere around these bodies, so yeah, you can rip off a leg and you have a steak ready to
No,
go.
not because I don't know if the Sombra can see out of the shadow or not. I'm thinking like one of the rooms like down the hall or something, so they don't. And it's like, don't mind me. But yeah,
Malenkov has been around a while. His humanity is very low. Oh, look at that. Got the 6 and the 10. With his 2 humanity left, he actually sees a little of your reason. He cares about Sierra. The shadows recede. He snaps his lighter shut and puts it in his pocket. He stands up with you, right in front of you. He's a little taller than you, but he offers his hand. I'm putting my trust in you, Montano. Take care of her. Malenkov he won't join you now, but you have his word of honor that he will appear at the Elysium at the appropriate time. You don't get his gift, but his sister will probably find a place in the city. We'll find out at the Elysium itself.
And he will tell her what we talked about, hopefully.
Oh, I think so. About how, yeah, he sees you as a good leader, and
Okay.
yeah,
You want
no,
that.
I think that will work itself out. It's not a conversation for you to have with her now. He will spend a minute speaking with her, though, just because.
Okay.
He will make that same promise to her that he will show up at the Elysium, and she will take him at his word. And she knows him to be good to that. Because up until now, he's never said he was going to show up. Even when they were back in New York, and no, he never promised to show. But today he does. The Elysium will be Sunday night late. It will be after Arthur's boxing tournament that he's going to have at the Lion's Den. You are all invited, of course.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to be there.
There will be wagering on the outcome. We'll see how that goes too. And there'll be a big round robin tournament of boxers. Then there will be an Elysium where the Primogen Council and the important kindred of the city will arrive to hear the prince's determination, his decree on whether or not the Lasombra are going to stay in the city. If Malenkov is right, you've been given a little preview of what that might entail. But that's to find out on another evening.
Shoot.
And yeah, I think the story is going to at least end itself there. This will bring you up to the early morning hours. Each of you can make it back to your haven safely. And
I want to take a shortcut if I can.
oh, where did you want to go?
Well, so to my house, but I'm looking for someone. I'm looking.
Your
Yeah,
friend out there.
right.
He's been around, and you know how he feels, and you know that he's been leaving some bodies on the ground.
Right.
Do a
Yeah.
little wits awareness roll and see if you can find him.
Okay, let's see here what that entails. Sorry.
Just gonna have you look around and see if you can find him in the hours before you have to get.
Right, yeah. And it would be just quick, obviously. It's close to the. So I got 2 successes.
You're not gonna see him before the sun comes up. You
Okay.
know, it's there's only a little bit of time left. If you had more time to find him, you'd find him for sure. But who knows what building he's crawled under right now?
Right. Okay. Well, I will try when I wake, I
Yeah.
suppose. I wanted it to be a little different. I didn't want to do it at night, but that's okay. Failed the roll.
You'll find him, and you'll probably have to find him here soon because
Right.
he's leaving too many stains, and even Damien was in your neighborhood noticing.
Yep.
Which is odd. That was Damien actually doing his job.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I had intended to do it from after the show, but obviously my night went different. So
Yeah.
just a little bit.
The scary ass Malenkov encounter.
Yeah.
Oh, and Arthur. Oh, the 2 aggravated damage. You're feeling it when you head home. Aggravated damage does take a little bit harder, a little bit longer to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let me get you to that.
No, I took.
I'm
I know.
actually
I know. Took 2
there.
fortitude for a reason. So I'm from 9 down to 7.
So to mend aggravated damage, a vampire must wait until the next nightfall and make 3 rouse checks.
Yes.
In addition to the regular rouse check.
And that is to heal 1 point of damage.
Yeah.
Which you get to try again the next night.
Yep.
Damn.
When is his arm going to? One of his arms going to be out of commission until then, or is this like the shock has numbed it for a while?
The shock has numbed it for the night. When you wake, you'll get it back. You might have to maybe give it a little pop back into place, but you'll get use of it the next day. But boy, you felt what they call a touch of oblivion, and it's what it felt like. It felt like electricity sucking the very life out of you from one arm to the other, just gone. And instantaneously. As much damage as you can do to somebody as fast as you could do it, that was impressive.
But like Arthur has always taken like a joviality to violence, and when they're leaving, like that joviality is gone.
You know, when you were walking out of Edith Beaubien's, that 2 superficial damage you took just for enjoying the pleasures of the place left a smile on your face. These are wounds. These are battle wounds.
Now, when Arthur gets home, he's going to do some bookkeeping. First, see if he's found anything more about a certain officer of the law. But then he's from a drawer in his desk. He's going to pull this old, tattered black book. It's like dog-eared. The leather's crumbling with age, and it's just the pages yellow to just have these red lines through them. Head opposite Fuhrer Johann Schmidt and all these names, and just put in Malenkov. It's even he's given his word, but talks cheap. At least to Arthur it is. So
you owe him. You owe him something.
Yep, it's you. At least he didn't hurt my dog. If you're at my dog, that's what the steak was for. But yeah. So there's this like some minor off the books bookkeeping to do, and that'll be Arthur's night.
And you'll have a little more information about that cop too, or that
Good.
low-level FBI agent.
Good.
It's
Yeah, it's just like home address. It's enough.
I mean, that's his family. He's got kids. He's got a wife. He's got a place out in Wheaton. All right, it's not for me to say, but there you go. You had an exciting night. Didn't turn into the fight that I thought it was going to be, but you made a deal with Malenkov. We'll see how that goes. And I think with everybody back safe to their havens, hopefully we'll have Sister Vindicta next time. We can get into some stuff with her. And then we'll have that Elysium coming up for that Sunday night along with the boxing tournament. We are closing in on the end of this story, this chapter. And you guys are absolutely fantastic. So thank you to all the viewers. And let's go down the line. Lilith, for fuck's sake, Grace, tell us about yourself.
I'm Grace. I play Lilith tonight. You can find me here on Wednesday nights and Saturday afternoons, and everywhere else on social media as For Fuck's Sake, Grace.
That's Grace. And Wes, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm Wes. I played Julian White. Had a great time. You can find me here, and you can find me on Geeks on Seats on Twitch.com. On Monday nights, I GM Savannah Undershadows, a Dresden Files RPG, which is really fun as well.
Fun and a great game. I love it. I can't speak highly enough of it. It's so good.
Oh,
and then Alex Maxwell.
Yeah, I'm Alex Maxwell, bringing you Arthur Valan tonight. Who had his big highs and big lows all in one session. It's a lot of fun. Right, anywhere games are played, you can find me under the tag StormWolf92. Don't expect too much. I am garbage at games, but it makes it all the more fun for everyone else.
Nice. Melenre is not here, who plays Sister Vindicta. We'll have her back next week, I hope. And it's been Will DM running the controls for us, being our producer. Thank you to Will. Thank you to Wicked Studios. We've got a lot of offerings. Monday nights, we dropped the Down Roll, which is a couple of GMs talking some D&D geekhood. Tuesday is the Greyhawk, which I believe is going to be reset in the coming year because there's going to be like a new cast for it. So I'm excited about that. Wednesday, it's Tales of the Savage Land. That's me and Grace and Melenre in the chat and Will running the game. And then this Saturdays is Vampire Show. But before us, if you're getting up early, it's Saturday Morning Superheroes, playing the old Marvel game from TSR. So we've got a lot of entertainment to offer. If you come to our channel and you click around and you go to Geeks on Seats and you go watch our other shows. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you to Will for running it. Thank you to my cast for being fantastic. Coming down towards the end, so stick with us. A couple more episodes left. And then with my Will, we'll turn off the Twitch stream right on time.